Monbasa Mvita. This conspiracy theory, in brackets, Adam Weishaupt, close the brackets. Let's get serious. Let's get real. Years back in Germany, a professor in a university by name Adam Weishaupt, or Adam the First Man, coined a cult. But he was a member of another cult. This professor was a member of a cult known today. But he coined another cult. A cult of the learned, a cult of the educated, a cult of the enlightened. This man, having coined that cult, had aspirations. Everybody did not understand what was happening, but he incorporated what was happening within his new cult and the cult he used to belong to. After some time, he disappeared out of the scene. People thought it was over, but they realized that the cult that had swallowed the cult that he belonged to was to take the center stage. So the cult that he first belonged to had to be subordinate to the new cult that he had formed. And when he formed this cult, his idea was leadership, world leadership. The cult that he had been in had tried to take over the world several times, but failed. But Adam Weishaupt thought with his new vehicle, he would be able to override everything. And he decided that it was not going to happen during his time, but it would happen in the future. He incorporated his old cult and his new cult and went underground. That is, disappeared from the scene. So his cult wasn't there. He wasn't there. People could not be able to trace anything. And the hierarchies of his new cult were put underground. So people don't understand much about it, but they know the highest is called Rex or King. King or Rex. That is the highest. And having gone underground with his cult, he had great ideas. He decided that worldwide, people who had that knowledge would cooperate with other people who had that knowledge secretly, and then they would have cells. These cells would operate with other cells underground. And what was the purpose of these cells? People with special knowledge, special technologies. He chose some of the best learning places, some of the working places. And if you are in an institution, if you are in a college, if you are in a working place, if you went to learn in some other working places, if you accepted to be a member secretly of the cult, which is the true cult, then you would be a contact. And secretly, in cells underground, they started spreading, aligning themselves for the takeover of the world. They have been doing it for years. They have done it in the banking sector. They have done it in the political sector. They have done it in the technological sector. They have done it in music industry. They have done it in the engineering departments. They've done it everywhere. They have done it in religious circles. There's no religion without the contacts of those people, comprising of two sects, two cults. In fact, there is nothing literally where they are not connected. Their connection is for a world leadership where other people will be subordinate. Bring back enslavement of a different kind and suppress those who will be inferior to them. Suppress them psychologically, suppress them economically, suppress them in all fields, so that they be exalted in all fields. They shall control them the way you control animals or the way you control assets. That is their ultimate goal. Fortunately or unfortunately, there are certain things that we knew when we were young. Our fathers knew, our great-grandfathers knew a lot about them. They were all termed myths. Remember Grimos? Many religious institutions had Grimos. Grimos are magic books, by the way. And it starts with Abraham. He had a magic book. Interesting. Moses or Moshe had a magic book. Solomon had a magic book. And unknown to us, but known to those people, the secret religion. These religious books empowered them to be able to make contact with other entities in different forms from us. These are the entities that drive their knowledge, drive their secrets, drive their rituals, drive everything. And when they get there, they get to the feeling, to the extent that they are gods or goddesses and the others are just animals. That is the feeling they get. I'm not joking about it. I'm very serious about that. And some of those entities are recorded in ancient history. They are recorded in our religious books. And some have not been recorded, but in some histories of these places where we do our sciences, where we do our religions, where we do our technology, they have got contacts. There are people who have advanced in different fields: magic, science, music, religion, name it, by making contact with these entities. There are some entities we were made to revere only to realize that they are entities surviving in another realm, but are able to make contact. If you doubt me, go to the past videos that I taught about the grimoires. After that, carry that research out by yourself. Find the grimoires. You'll get to know that this world is not the way we see it. And many of us have been asleep. Asleep in what manner? In what manner? The education systems have been diluted, have been mechanized. And we've been given things to keep us busy so that our brain is aligned to the mechanization, so that we cannot be able to draw a line between us and the machines. Technologies are good, entertainments are good, but when they make you not be able to draw a line between you and the machine, then it becomes a problem. Because you are a physical, a biological, self-independent machine. And the other machines are artificial, not biological. There are some programs ingrained within you that are not in those other machines. You have emotions, they don't. You can self-program through your genes, through your gametes, they can't. They're in the process of doing that. But now, those who have got that knowledge ensure that you're not made to know about your potentialities. That is the first thing. So you become a fool. They're able to contact those entities. I know they will say I've become paranoid, but I'm not paranoid. I told you of technologies that we've watched in cartoons. They are real now. Most of them are real. Some things that have happened in those, we call them conspiracy theories, where every country says those things don't happen. Those are imaginations from people with a disturbed mind. They're happening. There is this famous war that is being fought. And there was a time in those conspiracies, we would hear that certain entities would come in certain crafts. And if some of our fighter planes would follow them, they would drop from the sky. This is a time we have seen the microwave. Many people who have not keenly followed cannot be able to get that. It's dealing with the drones. Like that. So these are technologies that were there, that are there. During such a times, they come out. Question is, what is the agenda of Adam Weishaupt? What was it? Do we know? Are we interested? No. We are just spectators, being controlled by other machines to act like those machines. And when a time comes for takeover, we'll not even be aware of what is happening. It's only when you find yourself incapacitated, technologically, psychologically, emotionally, you do not even know whether you are human or machine, and then it will down on you. Some activities that are going on are not normal. But we are the team members, the cheerers. Sometimes we cheer evil. Sometimes we align with evil. Sometimes we call good evil and evil good. I've experienced this from the time when I became a victim of whatever's been happening. And those, is it entities? Because sometimes my mind would be approached. I told you there is psychic communication. And you will hear stories of everything. Those things that we think are good, or those that are ethical to us, are called evil from their point of view. So if you do things that are blessed here, things that will advance the goodness of human beings or other entities, to them, they say you are cursed. That is a curse. To us, we call it a blessing. So it is a reverse. What we call a blessing, they call a curse. What we call a curse, they call a blessing. Their mindset is different. But they want us to think along those mindsets. Like in the story I talked about, a princess who slept for 100 years. We have been put on the sleep mode. I have experienced hacking, and during the first time, because the very first time when they started, that was the time I had bought my first, what do you call it? Phone, the modern phones. And before they would start hacking me, they would put that phone on sleep mode. So you see something putting sleep mode. And when it's in the sleep mode, they are able to override and put in whatever is happening. We've been put on the sleep mode. We've got good stories. I'm not saying it's bad to be entertained by stories. We've got good theories, good cartoons that keep us glued and glue our mind to them. So when things are changing within your environment, you won't even notice. When laws, constitutions are being replaced by policies, you won't even know. It reaches a time you can't know what is a policy, what is a constitutional law. It has happened in all sects. And this is driving to one goal. To the goal of the cult that was formed by this professor and another cult that was there, having been combined together for a secret agenda for the future. Ask yourself, when somebody makes you addicted to your job from morning to evening, to a religion from morning to evening, to a gadget from morning to evening, you are a special made machine, biological by God. There are things that you're supposed to operate on your own level without interfering. When do you get time to get to yourself and to get to your maker? To create the faith that generates the power in you as a machine. So what's happening? Your originality is being eroded out. Your advancement is being eroded out. And those who have an agenda are growing theirs. They are keeping secrets. They are keeping contacts. In that, in every place you have contacts, people spying on you, people working against you, and you're not even aware of it. So we are entering into other phases where if we are not careful, if we don't open our eyes, if we use machines but not be used by machines. There is this difference. Machines are good, they make work easier. Use them, but don't let them use you. Because that is a place where we are getting. And we are becoming mechanical. Our emotions are eroding. Betrayal to a machine or to other entities now is not a surprise, because we are elevated slightly and you feel now you are a god, and the other one is a thing, an animal. There is this story that I was being told when I was young. It was a story. I'm not going to peg it on reality because there were some teaching stories that we used to be told. And in this story, they talk of a slave who had been sold to a king. And when somebody had been taken as a slave, there was a time when if your people could be able to make money, they would come and redeem you. So their people made money, and they went and they told him, yes, you're working for a king. You are a slave to a king, not the worker. You are a property of the king. And we, the family members, have raised cash enough to redeem you. We've sent a message to the king, and the king has said, if we give that money, and if you are willing to be redeemed, he has no problem. But this guy thought of the high life, the exaltation. He was a slave, but he was highly respected. He was not like the family. He belonged to the royal. So he looked down upon their family, and they went their way. And it came a time, this king passed on. In short, he died. And in the culture of this king, when a king died, he had to be buried with his servant. And his favorite servant was to be strangled, put down, several of them, so that when the king is laid in the tomb, is laid on the cushion. That is when the people now told them the slaves are the ones who become the cushion, and you are the chief slave. He cried, he mourned, he did whatever, but eventually he was still the slave. So instead of getting the respect he got, the ones that the princess got and the prince, he became the cushion. Let's ask ourselves, could we be elevating ourselves or being elevated, thinking that we are not like the others, only to realize that we shall be cushions? But also for the common populace, the common people, ask yourselves, are the things happening ordinary? If they are not, what are you supposed to do? Your constitutional are oppressives worldwide. But who sees that? From democracy, we are having institutions all over the world that are now being dictated upon. Who is talking about that? What is evil to society is happening? And the organizations that are supposed to be the watchdogs are complicit. So what's happening to us? Have we been put in the sleep mode? Because Adam Vice Hault had a mission, and the mission was world dominance to the people of his cult, and slavery, downgradement of the others. Are you their member? Or are you the ordinary that are on sleep mode, waiting to be enslaved? Think about it. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Disengage a bit from those machines. Look at yourself. Look at the world. And smell the coffee when it's cooking. Or else you will be the coffee. That's my take for now.